Let us know when we're live and we'll start.
You're ready?
All right.
Ready.
All right, so the meeting is called to order at 5:30. I see Chris, Janet, and myself are present, so I recognize that we have a quorum. Right. Let's begin with a moment of silence. Meeting is called to order at 5:30.
Second.
I see Chris, Janet, and myself are present, so I recognize
Off
we have a
on the
quorum.
computer.
Let's begin with a moment of silence. Meeting is called to order at 5:30.
Second.
I see Chris, Janet, and myself.
Again,
It's silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so item 4 of the agenda, let's consider approving the agenda.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Public comment for agenda items. We have no members of the public, so we'll go ahead and move on. Item number 6, let's consider approving the minutes from the last EAC meeting.
All motion to approve.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Item 7, new business, item 7.1. Janet, you're going to share with us a little bit about an update on the potential or the benefits of the chimney Swift Tower that you've been looking
Yes.
into.
Right. And do we have the pictures that are going to be shown
Mhm.
with this?
Yes,
and
there's a
we
link
sent
in the
it.
agenda. If we just click on that and then anyone,
Click on the
Mhm.
link, please.
just one down. There you
Second
go.
one, right. Okay, I'll tell you when to move down. You can right, move back up a little bit. Right, so I'll start with what we've already discussed. That through our Birdtown connection, we learned that the Pennsylvania Game Commission was offering free chimney Swift towers to be constructed in township parks. And after presenting the opportunity to Steve Neese, thank you,
Mhm.
Steve, it was agreed that George Sharrett and I should reach out to Stefan Karfa he's a Wildlife Recovery Division of Pennsylvania Game Commission, to assess our parks for appropriate location. So George and I met with Stefan on July the 22nd, and we visited Drexel Lodge Park, where George pointed out that it's a very busy park and probably not the best place to put a chimney tower. But we did show off our park to Stefan. And he arrived a little early, and he had also looked through where the ballpark is up there, and there's no real path that goes down there, so it might not have been seen as much. But then George suggested we go to the Brookside Park and look there. There's an area that's close to the playground, but it's off to a side. It's where the bat house has been constructed, but no bats have been there since it's been constructed. Stefan thought it looked like a good opportunity. And I just wanted to point out why we would want to have this. So this is material that I've learned from doing research about it. So man-made towers are crucial for regenerating the population, which has declined by about 70% over the last 5 decades, according to the State of Birds report issued by North American Bird Conservation Initiative. The birds are often described as looking like cigars with wings, originally nested in large hollow trees, caves, and cliffsides. But as settlement occurred, a lot of those things went away. The birds adapted and started using house chimneys, but changes in construction, most chimneys are now lined with stainless steel instead of mortar, and it's caused a rapid decline in the availability of roosting spaces. If you go down one slide now, thank you. Because chimney swifts aren't able to perch on branches like other birds, they like to cling to the vertical surfaces using spines at the end of their tail feathers. The tower provided by the Game Commission mimics the actual chimney, climbing several feet into the air. They're about 13 feet tall. They're constructed with an interior wall that provides roosting and nesting. While one tower may be used by hundreds of birds during migration, chimney swifts won't let other birds in while nesting. So the first pair that finds this and wants to nest, they will come back year after year, and as long as they're nesting, no other birds can fly in during the migration time. So the towers are great for habitat, and they're also great as an educational tool with the graphics that are provided along with the tower, which will identify it as being Newtown Square. And if we could put a Bird Town logo on it, that would be great too. So the township is required to provide the concrete base and help with erecting the tower. George said that it would take about a yard of concrete to put it up. I sent an email 3 days ago asking what a yard of concrete would cost, but I didn't get back.
Yeah. I don't know if he would have to, like, if we would self-mix that or whether we would have to.
He said he could order a yard, whatever that meant.
Yeah, sometimes you can't order that small of a
Oh,
unit.
okay.
And sometimes you have to order at least 3 yards.
Oh, all right.
So it may be one of those things, if we have to do it, that we would order it and it would have to be a part of something else we were doing at the same time.
Okay.
So we'll just have to see.
Devin said that it could be like $300 up, but
Yeah.
we don't know.
Yeah.
So then I'm hoping that we can provide this information to our Board of Supervisors for approval. The cost will come out of our EAC budget. We have asked that the tower not be constructed until 2027, so that we're moving into the next year's budget. He said that's not a problem because there are 13 other townships ahead of us, so that it probably would be until the spring anyway. But I think that this would be a great opportunity to show our support for a declining species of bird. And that's my report.
Question I have, if we were to move forward with this, and this is more of a Steve question, is this something we'd bring before the board for approval before or after we get? So I think we need to nail down the actual cost.
Yeah,
Right.
I think there's actually 2 stops.
Mhm.
Okay. And mostly because you've got 2 different groups. Yes, it would have to go before the board
Mhm.
of supervisors, but I think it should also go through the Parks and Rec route.
I hope
And the
so.
reason for that is that, because if your location's in a park,
Yeah.
they should be approving it.
Mhm.
And so that would be there. One thing I wanted to confirm, and, George and I have talked about it, so I think we're okay in this case. As we're doing some of these, we want to make sure, and I'm not saying, when I say some of these, I'm talking about just birdhouses in general. As we put them in, I know some of them have been put in some places that actually were restricting people from using those areas. And so we just want to make sure as we're putting them in some of our parks, that we're not taking away from some of the passive/active recreation areas that the park's intended for.
Yeah.
I think as we have, my understanding is where we're talking about this one, it's actually not a problem. It's along a tree line.
Yes.
I think this is actually a reasonably decent location. One question I think the board's going to want to understand when we're saying it, that we're doing this and it allows for 2 birds, and I'm assuming it's male and female that,
Yes,
they're
pair.
nesting together.
Yes.
And they come back each year.
Yes.
The typically a nest, do they hatch 2, 3, 1?
Good
Do you
question.
know?
I'll have to find out. how many
I think that would be helpful for,
Mhm.
like,
Let's quantify maybe how many
what's the
endangered animals we're bringing back
back-
for the course of like 5, 10 years.
kind of thing.
Right.
I think that helps.
Mhm.
If the township's gonna, I mean, look, $300 is probably not gonna make or break the township anywhere, right? But
No, no.
so I'm not worried about that part of it. But, we are asking to make an investment in this and
Mhm.
put it in a location in one of our parks. And so, I'm happy for that. if that makes the most sense. I'm really glad we decided where we're looking at in
Yes.
that my concern was when I looked at this, even though it's supposed to replicate a chimney, it's made of wood. And if we ever do a burn over at the Meadow Preserve,
Right.
even though I thought the Meadow Preserve initially was a really great place for
That's-
this, if we're doing a burn, that's not a really good place for
No.
something that's wood. I think this gives us an opportunity to do this in a place where it's visible
Uh-huh.
without being a place that potentially could be a problem further down the road.
Yes, and in response to the fact that it looks like it's just for one couple, the fact that it can be used during the migration season
Mhm.
for other swifts that are flying in the area to roost overnight,
Oh, okay.
right?
So
So
it's
that's what
one
they do.
nesting couple. It's one nesting couple, but it might have,
For the beginning of the migration period and the end of the migration, other swifts could use it because
Gotcha.
nesting is done by that time.
Oh, I've got some stats. So
good.
it directly benefits one breeding pair,
Yes,
an annual hatch of 3 to 5 fledglings, and about 100 to several hundred transient birds a year,
okay.
giving them a safe place to roost.
see, I
overnight.
think that's
Those are-
important information.
Yeah, those are
Yes.
compelling numbers,
Those are-
especially if it's in the low $100 cost. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah,
that's
I think the fact, one, that you're potentially helping out 100.
Yes.
Hundreds, yeah.
Hundreds of birds per year, and you're potentially repopulating 3 to 5 additional of the species
Yes.
every year. I think that over a 10-year period, that's 30 additional to 50 additional birds. So I think that's, I think that there's some benefit.
Okay, I will add the.
The,
definitive
the
numbers.
question,
Yeah.
is there any maintenance that has to be done? Like, do we have
Really
to
not,
clean it
yeah.
out?
No, and that's why I decided to suggest we do this one rather than the purple mark condo. Because those have to be cleaned out every year.
And even the bluebird
and
boxes, right? 'Cause they
monitor.
attract different.
Right.
Yeah, actually, the fact it's attracting just one specific pair each
Yes.
year is a benefit because we don't have to worry about cleaning out the nests for new occupants.
So you can look in under the bottom. You can see it doesn't go all the way down to the ground.
Mhm.
Yes,
Because it's
one of the
on
questions,
concrete, it's on
yeah,
rebar, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Right, and so you can crawl down there and look up and see whether or not there's a nest in there. They do advise that we check it out annually to see whether there's nest.
one of the questions I had is it potentially possible? I look at this, being a person who's allergic to bees, I always worry that we end up with a bee's nest just under the end of it. And so, I didn't know if we could screen the bottom. Yes, you could still look up, but just put a screen on the bottom so that, mostly because I think it's gonna be, if it's where I think it's gonna be, it's gonna
Yeah.
be near a playground.
Right,
And the last thing I know we want to support bees. I don't have a problem supporting bees. I just don't want them right near places where,
right, I'll ask about that.
thank you.
So should I make a presentation to the Parks and Rec?
I think that would be, I think once you get all your numbers and everything together,
Yeah.
brought good idea of what the cost is gonna be.
Right.
I think you go to Parks and Rec, and then I think we go to the Board of Supervisors.
Very good.
Do we need to pass a motion on this today to do those things, or we just do them?
I mean, I think the
move
thing,
forward.
here's what I would do, is I would keep your motion today very broad.
Yeah.
Saying that we want to move forward with this
Yes.
project
Mhm.
in continuing to do the research and continuing to get approvals needed
Right.
For a 2027 project.
Well, then I'll propose a motion that we do that we continue investigating and present this for
Research.
approval pending reasonable costs. Anyone want to second the motion?
I will second.
Good.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Excellent. Thank you, Janet, for that.
Yeah, very good.
And I'm also
Uh,
happy to help with any sort of presentation or notes you'd like with the stats.
And I may have missed it.
Mhm.
Did you mention that we had no public comment? You did. I may have,
Yeah.
I must have missed it.
Yes.
Okay.
Although for those on the line, we would love a member of the public to come.
Yeah.
Really, anyone. We had that one guy, but he was just wondering what the meeting was.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. So moving on to item 7.2, discussion and possible action on purchasing native plants and seeds for fall tabling events. So just as a recap, in our last meeting, we discussed that we have pending budget for the EAC and we talked about how to use that. I put together a proposal, which was included in this that we don't necessarily need to open. But anyway, go ahead and read about how we could do a combination of bulk purchase for seed mixes that can be used for establishing mini meadows or winter sowing, as well as a subset set of different natives that we can put into little fall pollinator kits and give out in one of two ways. The first option for how to give them out would be, I've reached out to Wade, but I'm waiting to hear back. They're going to do some sort of fall tree event that will likely involve the purchase or giveaway of trees. One option might be that we provide these kits for people to pick up. The actual species, I will note, are going to be dependent on what still would be in stock.
Okay.
So I put together a proposal based on what was available a month ago, but that has probably changed since then. But, you know, pending that, what I do is purchase a subset of these, kind of mix and match them into smaller sets, and we'd be able to either have people sign up to give them out if we're doing it through this sort of more organized tree pickup session in partnership with Parks and Recs, or if that's not an option, option number 2 would be to use one of the items we're going to talk about later, which is that we have, you know, 3 to 5 opportunities to do some significant tabling events. We can give them away at those events, either with or without sign up. And for each of these, we'd include some written instructions that we can approve during the September meeting for either how to establish the mini meadows, which, as you guys remember, the state program for that sold out in a hot second. So I think people would be and are excited. Janet's given away a couple dozen of those mini ones already.
Oh, all right. So
Mhm.
I brought them along.
Yeah.
So because I didn't want to put the seeds in plastic, I found these wonderful little cloth
Mhm.
bags and filled them with seeds. And then, because at this point, it's advised that they be planted in the fall.
Mhm.
Not now, it's too hot. And
It's much too
can't
hot.
Do that. So
Yeah.
so we could do that. You know, a number of years ago, we did milkweed seeds.
Mhm.
And so we gave out the milkweed seeds and we had that it was sponsored by the EAC
Mhm.
on the back here. So if we could include something like that.
We definitely could.
Right.
Yeah.
yes, right.
And
I'm gonna leave you this one on
absolutely.
that,
And if
others.
yeah, and we don't necessarily need to give out all of the seeds now. What we
No.
can also do is we talked about doing a winter sowing workshop in the winter.
Right.
So we can
yes.
save some of the seeds for that.
Good.
That being said, though, the high quality seed mixes are not cheap. They kind of run in the $40 to $50 a pound range. So we'd still be limited in, I mean, a pound of seeds is a lot of seeds. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
So I delivered 2 bird signs for people who wanted to have their yard recognized with the bird sign. And I included brand new seeds that I'd gotten. And I put just a teaspoonful,
Mhm.
a nice sized teaspoonful, because that's enough seeds to really, when you mix it with the
Mhm.
sand that they recommend, you could spread them out. Right?
Well, yeah, and
I'm
technically
happy
a
to get
teaspoon of
those.
seeds can grow dozens. Yeah, we can figure out the exact size of them.
Right.
Absolutely. We could also do a combination of single species purchases, and Ernst has a lot of really good custom mixes. You could I can call them and do like a custom mix of only Pennsylvania natives, and maybe they actually have a lot of Pennsylvania ecotypes. So not just native to the state of Pennsylvania, but from a specific strain of seeds that have been born and bred in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think very viable options. I don't know if anyone has a strong feeling where, hey, we think that we want to do this and we want to do some sort of coordinated pickup event, either with Parks and Rec on our own, or if you guys think we should look at doing it more through the different opportunities where we're already going to be interacting with members of the public. I'm really open to either.
Such as the
Circle at Sundown. There's going to be, I believe a fun day coming up in October. The Garrett Williamson itself is going to be having a family fun day. We're signed up to table at. You know, we can advertise that we're going to be at these places through the September newsletter and social media, and then have people either show up, or we could do like a coordinated pickup if we want to partner, if Parks and Rec is interested in partnering. I personally
really
have no
like
preference.
I like tabling at events.
Okay. Tabling at events. We can
Yeah,
definitely look
right.
at it doing that way.
Yes.
And we can bring it, well, what I would need to do is look at coordinating based on when I purchased and picked up the plants up in Oxford. Probably do it in like early to mid-September once we get to figure out how many tabling events we're gonna do.
Right.
Also tabling I don't know if there'll be one in September, but the farmer's market might be another
We're-
opportunity.
We're tabling tomorrow.
Yes, but we don't have the plants in the season. It's too hot for either. It's too hot for either. I don't think we'll have trouble finding people who are interested in getting a little subset of pollinator plants that can be planted in the fall.
Right.
We're getting the seeds with instructions on how to establish the mini meadow. You know, and cost wise, I'm gonna recommend we do landscape plants for the actual plants. They have an LP50, which is a landscape. It's an extra deep plug essentially that is a lot better for durability. And
Deep
those
roots.
very deep roots, and those run about $80 to $95 per flat of 50.
Right.
Now if we're gonna put together little packs, we probably want to have 5 to 10 plants per grouping that we're giving out, because we don't want to just give anyone like one random flower. We want them to have a little kit. I could probably think of
Planted clusters.
planting clusters.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, we can vote on it today and then kind of figure out also on the back end whether we want to do a lot of things. Because to your point, we could actually just give out 5 of one type
Yes.
of a plant as opposed to a mixed tray of 5 to 10, or it could be 5 and 5. I know planting in groups of 5 is generally ideal. 3 is the
Right.
minimum,
Yeah.
5's the ideal. I think some of that will depend on availability, because their availability changes every week. So based on what's going to be available in September, once we vote on it,
Right.
we can circle back and decide what those purchases are going to be. You know, we can also do like let's say maybe we just get a tray of, I would love it if they had trumpet honeysuckle available, because
Mhm.
that's a fun one. Yeah, so many things we can do with it.
Great.
All right, so it sounds like we want to go
Anything that fosters the planting of native plants.
Mhm. I'm just take a couple notes here.
Right.
So for this, and we'll have to vote on this as well. So it looks like we want to do it more at tabling events. We'll get that list of tabling events down today so I can put
Okay.
together materials, both handouts and also the newsletter article and social media posts, letting people know where to come. It's just gonna have to be, I think, first come, first serve at the end of the day. And we'll wait. We want to wait until September because August is a terrible time to plant this stuff, particularly with how the weather has been
Yes,
recently.
gosh.
I mean,
September-
even my established plants are visibly singed in some places. It's been extremely rough.
Yes.
Budget wise, I would recommend a cap of $1,000 to spend on this. I had kind of estimated out as maybe we spend $200 on seeds, because that could go up to 4 pounds potentially of
That's a
seeds
lot.
or a seed mix. It is a lot, but I do also want to give people a lot. We want to do winter sowing, like we
And
can.
they could hold over for another season. But
Definitely.
yes.
Definitely. And then we could also consider, you know, maybe next year, if there's a good area, we could look at a township project, but those get a little bit tricky with long-term maintenance. So I'm more inclined to look at it as more of a giveaway.
Yes.
The seeds are not going to go bad anytime in the next year. So there's a lot of opportunities to do those. Obviously the individual plants are a little bit pricier, but I still think we maybe want to get, you know, maybe up to 8 flats of them. It's not hard to give away these plants. Yeah, and I think the more the better. And we have the budget for it, so.
Yeah, the one thing that
Mhm.
I think we just want to try to figure out, and this is the one thing that we're working on, is making sure that when we do tree giveaways or we do plant giveaways, people are actually doing it, actually
Planting them.
planting them,
Yeah,
you know, because, you know, if we're making that investment, we want to make sure they're actually happening, you know.
I think we can maybe more pre-sign up is a better idea, so it's not as whimsical at the time.
So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of think about that, how we, you know, do we do some kind of like, once you planted, send us a picture of what you've
Mhm.
done, and so that we can, you know, have a record or something. I don't know what that would look like.
Thinking about that for giving them away, I was gonna have people fill in a form so we could follow up.
Yeah,
But now it's also making me wonder, whether we should attempt to do some sort of. I mean, again, it's not a lot of plants, you know, you get 5, 10, these are very small landscapes.
Yeah,
Trees
I
are
think-
more important.
Yeah.
Trees and shrubs.
Yeah. So I think I want to make sure it's successful. It's only 5 to 10 seedlings, so
Yeah.
it would take little to no effort for them to plant them, because
Right.
they're really they're
I know they're,
small,
yeah,
smaller
they're
than the
small.
mic. They're pretty
Yeah.
small.
But you want to
But-
make sure the deer don't eat them up.
Well, and
That
that's,
has happened. to me.
Everything on my list is deer resistant. I would never pick something that wasn't deer resistant. The reality is,
it doesn't matter.
They'll eat it anyway.
the reality is it depends.
It does.
It depends. I will tell you, like, I can grow things at my house that people down the road from me cannot grow. I know some people who can't plant things that I see in other areas. Some of them, though, I really do hope they have. I've never seen the deer snack on any of the Amsonias, which can get to be very, very large. It's one of the few
Mm.
shrubs they actually have at North Creek, which is primarily perennials. And it's technically, I think they're perennials, but they're really shrubs in my book, or the blue false indigo. But the only, I mean, all you can do is buy the most deer resistant natives you can. And some of them will make it and some of them will not make it, and some will get eaten, and some won't get eaten. And that's why we're looking at investing like $1.25 per plug instead of, a $10
Yes.
more established perennial. I think that's kind of the best option we can do. Also,
I
yeah.
really would like to encourage the shrubs because our understory has been pretty much
Yes.
decimated.
yeah,
And the birds need the understory, those shrubs to fly into. And also they're fruit bearing, some of
Mhm.
them too. So, if we could push if I had a vote, I would vote for shrubs.
well, the next item, the second set of this agenda item is related to shrubs. But the
Okay.
thing about shrubs is that you're at a much higher price point, even for the starter plants. Now you're at $10 to $15 per starter plant, and that needs to be more coordinated like a tree giveaway. Whereas these are relatively easy and straightforward.
Okay, the little plugs.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
plugs are like $1.50 each, it's the
Right.
cost is quite low. The shrubs, $10, $15, a little bit more, like we don't have the current existing budget, I think, to support. Outside of, they do have Ansonia and blue false indigo, technically perennials, but I think when you look at them as they're grown and they flourish, they're shrubs. As far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen the full ones at my house, because I have quite a few, but they are basically shrubs.
Left to their own device.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
What's the balance of our budget?
we have about $1,600. So,
Do you need any of that for the Caterpillar movie?
no.
Ah.
Mm-mm.
No, unless we want to give them a donation.
We could do that. We could do that as well. And we also, if we have additional budget, we can also share it with tree planting, which will happen in the fall anyway, which is not a bad idea. It's always a good idea to put money into trees. I don't think they would possibly say no if we have excess money to give to trees.
So Steve, I know we have this goal to plant 1,000 trees in a certain period of time. How is that going, and how's the money for that coming from? And
So, I don't know off the top of my head what that number is. I know we've made a huge dent in it. There's been a couple years that the number of trees we planted has been over like 120, 130. We needed to do about 200 a year to get to the goal, because it was a 5-year window. I think
Years end.
huh?
When does the 5 years end?
I think,
at least 3 years into it or 4.
I think we're actually potentially on the 5th year right now. It's all tied to the MS4. Okay, that was what drove us doing that. And I think that we had a couple years that we probably missed the mark of 200. We had a couple years that I know there was 1 year for sure that we went that number because of what we planted on the pike. We planted enough to cover it. We have, and it wasn't meant that the township had to plant all 1,000. We were counting on developers to plant some of those. And I think what I don't know is how many of the trees that the developers have planted, have they all been counted? And the key was they all had to be within an area that was, there's an actual map that says this is the area that we're responsible for reducing sediment. And so, for example, some of the trees we planted along Beechwood and Ashley didn't count. Even though we would have liked to have counted those, some of the houses that picked them were actually not within that storm or within that water drainage area.
Right.
And so, but we couldn't say that your neighbor could get it, but you couldn't, I mean, we didn't,
Yeah.
that wasn't what we wanted to do. But the target was originally to hit areas that were part of that group. We did a lot of trees along Goshen. What I think the sad thing is that between the emerald ash borer issue and the is it beech trees that I think is the other tree that's being hit right now, pretty heavily. We've had a significant loss
Yes.
of trees.
Right.
Maybe not quite as many as the number of trees that we've planted, but we haven't
Yeah.
really, we haven't gained a whole lot of ground like we were hoping, because we've lost so many. The number of trees that have been lost in the township is at least 1,000, related to the emerald ash borer.
I have planted a lot of trees though. It may not count. It makes me actually
Actually,
wonder.
I think your area does count.
Yeah, I'm at the headwater. of the
Yeah.
stream. So if you want
Yeah.
to count my trees, you can.
Yeah,
I got at
yeah.
least 20,
Yeah,
if not,
So-
well, some of them are shrub. Well, this is like the essential question, like, what is witch hazel? Is it a small tree or is it a shrub?
yeah,
With the
I-
let's call it a small tree.
It's
I-
actually, many of my
for
trees are
our
right.
town, it's a small
Yes.
tree.
Yeah.
So,
In my property, I actually have quite a few because I have culverts. I lead into a culvert and I have
Uh-huh.
an integrated rainwater system. Another thought that comes to mind, if you guys are, actually, this is more, I guess it would be a spring project, but a nice way to get that number up would be to find some nice streamside areas where we could do a live stake program. They are dirt
We have
cheap.
done
You've
that.
done live stakes?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we have.
when we did the, sorry, my
It was
brain just.
Drexel Lodge Park did a
we-
lot with CRC, didn't they?
Yeah, we did some live staking
Yes.
there. We also did a significant live staking, when we did the sanitary sewer, on the western side of the township. And we did all that clearing that we had to do. We did a major live staking as part of that project as well.
I've never actually done a lot. I tried live staking in my property, but I actually could not get them into the clay soil. And I didn't have the right drill bit and they died. I'd ordered like 3 or 4 from Ernst's
There.
bioengineering page, but that would be fun to do. That could be a resident program maybe down the road. It takes a
Yeah.
little more coordination and muscle with installation because you need to have the right drill bit and mallet and time of year. Okay, well, circling back to this, I'm gonna go ahead and propose a motion that we pursue using under $1,000 to fund these giveaways for perennials and seed purchases. Anyone like to second the motion?
I'll second that. motion.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, excellent. I also should mention, I did speak with North Creek. If for any reason we want to delay the purchase of some plants, we can also purchase and prepay for spring delivery as well. So
Right.
I meant to, but didn't get to looking at what's on their current inventory. If I do go back and find that for whatever reason, they don't have a lot of things that'll be available for
Right.
pickup in early September, we can do a smaller set, but still do the purchasing and invoicing now and have those ready to go in like April. So we can
Right.
still use the budget for this now.
And
So-
Kate, I think you should mention that you are a master gardener. And so.
I am a master
I know,
gardener.
I know, I think you should mention that.
Yeah.
You know, for somebody who might be listening.
Oh,
and-
for new, I am,
and-
yes,
and-
I'm a master gardener.
Right, so you're
Yeah.
up on, what is the best choices?
Yes, I am a master gardener, but I am also largely self-taught about how to do residential landscapes. I started out actually looking to restore my property, which is about 1.5 acres, and I put a couple thousand trees, shrubs and perennials in there over the last 5 years. And then I joined the master gardener program and finished it just about a year ago.
Uh-huh.
So I'm kind of relatively newer to that. And I do a lot of tours of the property. I had CRC out at my property for a tour about how it's a watershed and ecological restoration. We had a nice group of about 25 people. And then I had a larger group actually in just last weekend from the Philadelphia Native Plant Exchange group.
Mhm.
So that's always a lot of fun. I was thinking maybe I'll do one in the future for the township or maybe combine it with something like a seed harvesting. Those are always really fun to go around in the fall and actually, I don't take too much out. I like to keep most of them for the
That's
insects, but
right.
and birds, that's why they're there, but that could be fun as well.
Good.
Yes. I am also looking into doing one of the Master Gardener webinars soon. So if I get that off the ground, maybe we'll do a version of that too. Okay, so moving on from that one to part 2, which was added. We had talked in a prior meeting about looking to do a larger giveaway program next fall that would be more focused on a combination of shrubs or small trees. We talked about this once in a prior meeting. The idea is I wanted to look about targeting one of two things. One is I really want to get Japanese barberry out of the township. It is the worst plant that has ever existed. It is invasive. It is pokey. It is a tick condo. It's just no good. Would love to encourage people to replace their Japanese barberry with other shrubs. And also, I think we have a large opportunity on relatively small residential plots to put in a variety of maybe up to 5 different small native trees. I think a lot of people have issues with planting these very large trees that create long-term maintenance, but the trees that cap it out about 15 to 20 feet, of which is quite a good few options. So I put together a proposal for that. We kind of had it tabled to the side. I don't know, Steve, we had briefly talked previously about whether this might be a budgetary ask we could put towards the township. I don't know if you recall that.
As opposed to being EAC.
Well,
budget.
the budget to do this on a larger scale would be more in the $3,000 to $4,000 range. We talked about in a prior meeting, maybe either seeing if that's something we could make as a township board of supervisors ask, or if not, we can talk in the next meeting about what the relevant grants might be that we could apply towards this. I
Yep.
don't know if that rings a bell for you.
Well, I think it does. I
Mhm.
think what I said is if you're wanting to do it this year, you would have to obviously go to the board now. So if you're saying you're doing it
Fall
for,
2027.
if it's for fall, which I think I missed the first time, but I did hear you say it tonight.
Yeah,
If you're doing it fall 2027, I think that we put it in as a budget item for
Mhm.
fall of 2027 as part of your budget.
Mhm.
And then it's the ask that you're doing at the budget time. And then it would just be a matter of making sure that when it goes time to do it, that you go before the board and say, we budgeted for this. This is what we want to do. Here's how we want to do it.
what is the process to put it in? Can you put it in as a budget ask? for
Well,
us?
you actually you'll give it to me.
Okay.
I'll be getting that information out to everybody probably in September. I need to get it all together. I'm behind, so, but.
That's all right. And if for some reason we can't get it added, then I do have that list of grants that could potentially be applied for. One of the grant limitations is a lot of them are about active restoration of land. And I do think being realistic, we, at least as a committee here, don't necessarily want to take on more hands-on maintenance work. So we need to maybe avoid some of those grants that can apply specifically to this, which there are some, but not quite as many.
Right.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. So we got through this one and this one. Oh, item 7.3. So we previously in the last month, we had intended to publish some informational pages on the EAC website. As we gone through the approvals, we then found out that there was, I guess, a cost prohibitive reason that we couldn't get those up on the website. Steve, do you know any more about, I heard this through Mary, but that apparently the cost to add these subpages to the township page was too substantial.
Yeah, it might, and what I don't recall the exact cost.
Yeah.
But it was
Was it like-
several $100s per page to add it to our website.
It's a lot for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and what I think and I asked the question, I didn't really understand.
Why copying and pasting is so expensive.
So, but I think it has to do with the structure of our website. They have to go in and do, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
So, my thoughts were, can we do it through link? Even though it's
We
not.
can. Yeah,
it-
so I was actually gonna put them into PDFs. I think I just wanted to bring it back onto the agenda. Where I landed with Mary was that I should put it into PDFs. That has taken me a little bit of time because I actually have to get it to logically fit into a double-sided PDF. I had written it up as just a free text article, so I'm actually having to like work on the design, take some things out, add some things back in. So I think I'll be done with the PDF soon, but then I probably have to send them back through to be reviewed because some of the information will be shorter or newer.
One of the things too, if you're having trouble with that, let me know and I would send that over potentially to our communications folks and see if they can assist.
I just have, it's more that I
Okay.
have to I just have to like negotiate the content so that it fits into a good format. So one of them is done. One of them is 90% done, but I need to add some more content in certain areas so that it looks balanced. It's a lot more effort to design a double-sided flyer than it is to just put we were just gonna do the easiest,
Yeah.
text just to get it out there. But that will be sorted.
So I'm confused why it needs to be double-sided, so that you only look at one
Because I have too much, no, it'll be a PDF, so it'll be a 2-page PDF. I have too much information to fit onto one page.
Yes, right.
But not enough information for one of the articles to fit onto 2 pages. So I need to decide what I'm gonna add back. And then I decided they should look nice. If they're now PDFs, I want them to be double-sided color, nice downloads. So since I just found out about this a week or 2 ago, I just need a little bit of time to wrap them up.
Are you using AI to generate any of these?
No, AI doesn't work very well. I do a lot of design and website development on a smaller scale, so I'm just using Canva. I'm just using a template. It's just more like playing around with the content so that it looks and flows right and double checking the formatting and everything, but I might send it to you guys to make sure I haven't made any typos. And to look nice and fancy. Okay, so 7.4, discussion on tabling events and activities for summer and fall. And as you see, including plant and seed giveaways, which we voted on. I just want to get a final list together, or as good a list as we can today on what those events are going to be so that I can figure out timing and purchasing. And I shouldn't have an issue doing all of the sorting of the plugs on my own. It's not really that many plants.
Well, you can ask me to come
Yeah.
over and help.
I will.
Okay.
I know for sure we have the circle at sundown, which I think will be a great
Yes.
opportunity. I'd already planned to do a table at the Garrett Williamson Family Fun Day. So I think that would be another good opportunity. And
Then there's the Parks and Recs.
Parks and
It's supposed
Rec.
to be October the
yeah,
1st or 2nd, I think.
yeah, it'll be early in October, so it should be fine because I can keep, these plugs will be totally fine at my house for a couple weeks. Worst case scenario, I could always pot them up into slightly larger pots, but I think they should be fine in the plug trays as long as I keep them part shaded and I keep them watered. Other than those 3, do you happen to know offhand if the farmer's market goes into September? I think it might.
I can't answer that.
Okay. Anything else that you're aware of that we've talked about that we've committed to table at or should think about tabling at?
No.
Okay,
Uh,
that should be enough. Cause I'd also like to I'll work this month on putting together both for the newsletter and for social media. And just confirm with each of the groups that it's okay if we do that and maybe hopefully have them add that information in upfront. You know, because we'd like people to come expecting they might be able to get the plant, so they have a plan to plant the plants, and then I'll have them fill out some sort of form when they pick them up with contact information. Because it would be nice to get some more stats and photos.
When is the Garrett Williamson?
I have it written down at home. It is also in October. It's in early October. I want to say it's the 12th. And I think Circle at Sundown is what, the 27th?
That's.
I think that's right, 27th of September.
Yeah, which is, these are all, I mean, September through November are all good timeframes for all of
Let me
this.
just verify that,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure it's 27.
So you would make people fill out a form to get the stuff.
Just give us maybe an email address before, when they pick them up or we hand them away, just say, hey, here's a signed-in sheet. Can you just put down your name and email?
Yes.
So that we can follow up with them afterwards and either ask for photos or see how it's gone or keep track of who within the township got the plants, just, you know, purposes. Okay, excellent.
I know that the document that you included in the our agenda here
Mhm.
talked about how if people remove their invasive plants, that they could get a discount.
So now we're mixing them up. That's
Okay.
the 2027. I know it's confusing. We've been talking, the fall 2026 program is just plugs and
Okay,
seeds. That would be for this larger budgetary ask for fall 2027, because
Yeah.
that's the bigger
Right.
thing to coordinate. And that was an idea. If we can get it in the budget, we can decide early next year how it's actually going to be structured, because we have 12 months until that would
Yes.
happen. Yeah, but I would just love to encourage people to get rid of Japanese barberry with that.
Right.
I mean, I popped those out first thing when I bought my house, but I see them everywhere. I'm gonna knock on all my
Along
neighbor's
with
doors.
The pear trees, right?
Oh yeah, the calorie pair. They are, if you try to tackle all of them at once, you'll lose your mind.
Mm.
It's too much. Okay, excellent. So we gotta jump ahead. Let's see, we did 7.4. 7.5, discussion and possible action on upcoming newsletter topics. Obviously with Circle at Sundown coming up and the fact that we're going to be purchasing these meadow kits and plants, I would like that to be a focus of the next 2 newsletters, or at least one next newsletter, because the second one may not come out in October in time before the events, and also a social media posts. Anything else you guys wanna, either for September or October, wanna plan to have on the newsletter or social media?
Don't have any ideas, and I must say, this is not my forte.
Yes, or no, just topics, just topics. Is there anything related to Birdtown or anything? I know fall, do you think it's too early to tell about fall, winter bird migrations?
No, I don't.
So we could
It's-
do that.
yes,
That
right.
could be another
So
one.
we have a walk planned at Garrett Williamson on the second Saturday of October.
Oh, okay,
It's
great.
World Migration Day. And I reached out to Mike McGraw, who has failed to answer
Mhm.
my email. He usually is the
Yeah.
one who does our walk for us. And always happy when I get his.
It is
phone.
summer, it's August, he may be on vacation, and is that, I don't know if you're aware, I think I mentioned to you that you might need a different point of contact, at Garrett Williamson, Cassandra is leaving, I don't know if she's been your
I
point of
heard
contact, I
that,
know.
but I don't
she's-
know where she's.
Don't either.
You don't
We'll
know?
find out. But we can obviously move forward that. So let's maybe we can weave those two together
Okay.
in September so that we can advertise that. It would be great if we can get a link to it, but if we can't, we can't.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Item 7.6, discussion and possible action on marketing communications and attendance for the mini conference. So for the mini conference in September, we've had some challenges come up. We have some staffing constraints at Garrett Williamson. We have some time constraints. We have some unavailability of speakers, and we have a relatively low RSVP from the current members. I think at this point, with everything else on our plate, I'm going to recommend that we just potentially table this and cancel the event for this fall, keeping in mind we might need to look at a different format in 2027 for this type of topic. But I'm open to everyone's thoughts on the topic.
It's getting close.
Yeah.
to When it is.
Yeah.
And if it's just not coming together.
There's some-
Very well.
There's some
this
3 or 4
line-
areas that things are slowly falling apart. So I think at this time I would like to focus more on the things that we're planning to do. And we have really only like 6 or 7 people enrolled in it from the initial communication. So I think it's best to kind of pull the plug on that, especially keeping in mind Sandra's leaving Garrett Williamson. So they are relatively
Do
short
you
staffed
know
on
what her date is? For
the 11th.
the
August
11th?
11th.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
it's around the corner.
It is just around the corner. Yes. I think that's probably the best way to go. We have not sent out, we had planned to, I know Steve put this in the newsletter and township communications for August, but I'm going to recommend that we pull it. Actually, we need to probably pass a motion on this first. So I'm going to propose that we table the event and revisit for 2027.
I second that.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll pass that motion. And then Steve, do you think it's possible to just pull that out of the newsletter? There was one article about the conference.
Yes,
Mhm.
if you'll just follow up
Yeah.
with an email to.
Can do.
To who? To Desiree tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to remember to do it tonight, but when I go back upstairs, but
There's still one we have in there about the green business group,
Yeah.
which is fine to leave in. And then we can also pull back one of the articles from last month as well, because
Yeah.
they're completely evergreen content if we want to make sure we have 2 or 3 things.
yep, no problem.
And I'll let everybody else know, just kind of offline, and since we haven't done broad marketing, there's really just 5 or 6 people that need to receive an email that are currently
Perfect.
registered. Yeah. We'll
And
sort,
that pulls
Mhm.
back funding from that too.
that does make more funding
Right,
available.
yes.
I don't think we need that funding for the giveaway of plants. The amount that we have are gonna be plenty. We
Okay.
could use that money to pre-purchase plants for spring, seeds or plants. I did confirm with North Creek that if we wanted to do, I think giving away plants at tabling events could be one of our signatures, Janet.
Yes.
I would love to give away plants at every tabling event in the spring and
seeds
fall.
Little.
So we could
brochures.
either use it to pre-purchase inventory that will be delivered in April or May, or we could provide that money to tree planting. I have no strong
It has
preference.
to be sent before the end of the year.
Yeah, typically.
So we can purchase the plants and they'll
Oh.
invoice them through North Creek. We
And
just
get
wouldn't
them in
take
the spring.
delivery of them until the
That's a
spring.
good
I don't know if that breaks any rules.
I think from an accounting standpoint, we don't want to be. I don't think the township wants to be paying for something
Hmm.
that we are not. Taking receipt of.
Fair enough.
I understand what you're trying to do. I think my auditors are gonna say, whoa, if you haven't received it, I would have to show it in next year
Yeah.
anyhow.
To be fair,
And-
we still have quite a few months to spend the money. We
Okay.
could do a lot of ways, or if we can use it to plant more trees, I'm always in favor of planting more
Sure.
trees. I don't know who owns the tree budget, if it's Wade or it's someone else. But
I have to look. I think it's
Yeah.
I think it was put under shade trees.
Shade tree,
So,
but shade trees is part of Parks
but
and
it's
Rec,
part of
right?
Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they would turn us down if we offer them money for trees.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and if for some reason it didn't get spent, it doesn't get spent, and potentially we could ask the board to carry it over for you for next year.
Be a problem to find it. I mean, if that, we have other options we can talk about next month, including, I know from sort of, we've put trees up in certain areas, especially I know there was an area over here, I'm blanking on the name, but it was like a small set of, a small area that I know that you guys put in a bunch of trees year before last, and we talked about putting tree labels on. We could do that.
It's across the street over here.
Oh, it's here. I thought it was,
Yeah.
there was another one. No, I thought there was one near Ellis, on Ellis. I could be wrong. I thought I pulled that out of one of the reports.
Well, we did a tree planting along the Goshen Trail, a large tree planting there,
Yeah, I would want to talk to George before we just said we were gonna do that,
right?
because we've done a fair amount of planting trees along there.
Yes.
Oh, no, she meant they'd already done one, that we were talking about
Oh.
like labels for the trees.
I got you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
people could
Yes.
identify the species.
Yes.
And the labels are surprisingly expensive, like the good metal labels run
It is ridiculous
They are
what they
like-
cost.
$25 minimum for the good ones to have them printed and put up, which is why I never did them at my house. And because that was brought up also in the, or my brain is not working, the Newtown Square and Bloom report from last year, that would be a desire, which is where I thought I got, that there's another planting we had done over by Ellis off of Westchester Pike. I could be wrong. No?
Nothing kind of mind.
Okay. So
Just the-
tree labels is an
yeah,
option
just
for
the
trees.
down
I'm
the
sure they
Goshen
would be happy to take the
Trail.
money for trees.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. Oh, item 7.7, we've actually had a new application for the Green Business Association that we will welcome. And I just want to, I will reach out to them after the meeting today. So a business named Anna and Bella's Fashion Consultants. It's a woman-owned small business specializing in handmade jewelry, fashion accessories, and fashion designs. They
Wow.
use sustainable materials whenever possible and create small batch handmade products, reduce waste, and support ethical craftsmanship and artistry.
Very good.
Yes, so I will follow up with them to let them know that we
Where
are.
are they located? I need to run over there.
I cannot remember offhand, but I will let you know. And I will talk with them about if they want a sticker. I don't know if they have, I don't know that they have a physical location, but I will confirm. And make sure that they get added to the website. So we make a follow-up for myself as well. All right, item 7.8, discussion on potential risks of West Nile virus. This one will be relatively short. This has been kind of, people have been talking about this recently. Within Delaware County, there was a positive mosquito sample for West Nile virus. I think this is the first time we've had it in Delaware County.
Huh.
And it's obviously scary. That doesn't necessarily mean, though, that people have to worry too much. I mean, the fact that it's been detected in a mosquito doesn't mean that suddenly everyone is going to be getting cases of West Nile virus, but it is something that has been steadily moving north due to increased temperatures and migrations of insects. I think at this time, there hasn't actually been a confirmed case in humans, but if we've had a confirmed mosquito case, it is probably only a matter of time. So just for something for people to be aware of, if you have recently been bitten and you're not feeling well, just something to keep in your memory to talk to your doctor about, but also that when you can look for opportunities to eliminate stagnant standing water on the property,
Right.
a good idea, use screens on your personal home, use fans. They are very, very effective at not killing mosquitoes, but rather a low volume fan will keep them out of your personal outdoor private space relatively effectively.
And don't use pesticides spread all over.
No, you can use an EPA registered repellent on clothing.
Right.
I love Insect Shield. It's a good company. I use it personally. They have some great built-in clothing with pest protection, and just take caution around dawn and dusk.
So managing pests while protecting pollinators.
You want to talk a little bit about that,
Well,
Janet?
I only know that this is something that's been put out by Xerces Society, which is all about insects.
Mhm.
And so just to get that
It's a
message
big
out.
newsletter. Good for the newsletter.
The
Mhm.
fact that, the pesticides we use are not specific
Mhm.
to, the mosquitoes. And it's really, we're losing our insects.
Yeah.
There are, just reports from the, um, bird, club of Delaware County that the purple martins just are not finding enough insects to
Mhm.
feed their babies. It's past starting. It's here now. So we really have to start supporting our pollinators. This is one way we definitely can do so, and planting our
Mhm.
native plants.
So moving on to item 7.9, speaking of insects, just to circle back, we had a little bit of a hold on the extraordinary caterpillar film while it was
Yes.
undergoing legal review. We have gotten legal sign off on this, so now we are free. We'll have to talk to Garrett Williamson since Sandra is stepping away. We are free to go ahead and put any sort of co-branded movie screening in place. We just have to be cognizant that
So what you need to do, what I will set
Mhm.
up, is for you to talk to Julie Smith,
Mhm.
who is from Open Connections. And she is the one who has gotten the, license to show, the, caterpillar, extraordinary caterpillar. And she has offered it to
Mhm.
us to use.
Mhm.
So as long as we are doing it in the prescribed way,
Mhm.
there should be no problem. But you and she need to have.
Yes, we can have
an
a conversation.
introduction.
I will follow up with maybe Kelly, or there was someone else in the development office to see. Originally, we planned to do it at Garrett Williamson through
Yeah.
Sandra. I will see if they're still interested in doing it.
Right. We
Um,
could do it at Open Connections,
we
which
could,
is really a
yeah.
Newtown Square ad.
Realistically, I don't think we're gonna be scheduling that for the fall, because
No.
we have quite a few other things, but it
Right.
might be something fun to do in like the winter time when there isn't a lot to do
Mm.
outdoors, whether it's December, January, February, that might be a fun time to do that.
I know after I saw the video,
Mhm.
I wanted to run outside and look for all the insects I could find that were
I-
crawling around.
I found a new insect, actually. Since we have 2 minutes, I was walking by my false blue indigo yesterday, and I noticed that some of the leaves didn't look the best. And they had some stuff on them, and I took a photo, and I had a brand new insect, the Genista broom moth.
No,
Yeah,
what does it become?
that's a good question. Let's see if it'll load.
Mm.
See. It's a broom moth or a Sephora worm.
Okay.
Yeah, they are found in North America, and that's all it says.
Huh.
So I don't know what a broom moth looks like, but I have 6 of them at the caterpillar stage on some false blue indigos I put in
They
earlier this
like
spring.
it.
They do. No one else can see the photo, but there is one false blue indigo that there are 6 of them on right now, and they have this
Wow.
sort of woolly fuzz all around them, which is super interesting.
And what is always amazing to me about these insects, you have a small patch of something and a whole world out there. How do they find it?
Mm.
Where are they? That they come to your backyard and find, what they need.
Oh, I just looked it
How's your
up.
garden, Steve?
Yeah.
How's my garden?
Yes.
Limited because I'm in an HOA that limits what I can do, but.
Oh, well, we need to correct
We're working on some
Okay.
things right now.
that.
So,
Very good.
Yeah, I'd never heard of this moth, and now I'm gonna have a whole host of them.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty exciting.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so item 8, old business, we don't have any. Item 9, items for the next agenda. I think everything we've talked about today that requires follow-up, and then anything brand new we need to bring to the next agenda.
Right.
I don't think so. Item 10, public comment. We have no members of the public, but if you're listening, we'd really like it if you came and made a comment. And then item 11, I will go ahead and call this meeting adjourned. Oh, the gavel. That's the gavel. It's done. The gavel. Thank you.
All right, there it is, right on the money.
Oh, that worked out well. No, I was like so surprised.